Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Earthlings. It's me again. Today, I'd like to talk about one of my favourite subjects, PR. Now, I don't know if this is Meghan Markle's PR, or who these people are, or if they're paid. There is a website called Gossip Cop. Don't know if any of you out there are familiar with Gossip Cop, but I've come across it once or twice, and it's normally trying to debunk a particular story about, I don't know, I suppose other celebrities, but I don't really look them up. So what I do sometimes for my own amusement, and you can do this too, of course, is I go through Gossip Cop's archives. And I found quite an amusing one, which is still available on their website. I mean, if it was my website, I'd take it down. But I suppose it's up to them. And I thought it might amuse you too. I know there's loads of news about Harry's book delayed, and I'm not going to buy Harry's book. And that's not because, I disapprove or I don't like Harry. I just think they're both so boring. I wouldn't read a book written by either of them. Would you? Tom Bowers' book, on the other hand, have heard this morning that apparently there's a release date next week. Well, I think I might hold off first until someone else buys it and reads it. I'm not going to fall for the same trap I did on the last one. But in the meantime, I went on Google and I googled Meghan Markle Gossip Cop 2018, and this came up top. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, in quotes, leaving the royal family for a regular life with their baby was 2018's top rumour about the couple. Gossip Cop was the first to correct the phony claim about them giving up their titles. Well, that hasn't happened yet. And possibly moving to the United States. If only we had a time machine for these people. And as the year draws to a close, it's clear they're not turning their backs on the monarchy as falsely reported. Then it goes on. About 2 months ago, OK published a cover story that wrongly asserted the newlyweds were quitting the royal family for the sake of their unborn baby. Make what you will of that. To bolster the article's premise, the tabloid, I'm not sure I would call OK a tabloid. Is that OK different to OK magazine? I don't know. The tabloid quoted an unnamed and possibly fictitious source as saying that once they finished their royal tour of Australia, New Zealand, Fiji and Tonga, remember that one? Markle and Prince Harry would make a historic announcement which the magazine maintained was them leaving their royal life behind. Now, I could go on and on and on, but I think you get the picture and you can go online, you can read that for yourself. It's a really naff name for a start, Gossip Cop. I mean, come on. And this is coming from someone who has been arrested by real police. I mean, Gossip Cop. How drivelly. But what makes me really laugh at the end, they've got like this, again, a really naff little icon. In fact, I'll show you. I'm using Graham's phone for this. Can you see it's called The Truth Detector. And it's got this sort of little cartoon of a supposed cop. And it says, totally false. Our verdict, Gossip Cop has determined this story is totally false. So everybody, rest assured, it's false. Harry and Meghan never left the royal family. They were never going to leave the royal family. It was just a vicious rumour put out there by a tabloid. Really? How can these PR people look themselves in the face in the morning? How are they not dying of embarrassment? And then I hear another little rumour from another YouTube channel, who I won't name because I haven't asked the gentleman for permission, but there is a very well-known gentleman YouTuber, and he said on one of his videos this morning that someone who works in the publishing business has told him that Penguin might be sitting back and because they were shocked about the booing. So they might be having a rethink, like, yikes, these guys might not be popular. How can these people, how do they even get a job in PR? How do they get a job in PR? And another thing that I forgot to mention about Tina Brown. Tina Brown is one of these people of the camp that's constantly saying Harry and Meghan represent the youth, right? Kate and William, the older generation, but Meghan and Harry, the youth. Why? Meghan is older than Harry. Meghan is older than Catherine. I'm pretty sure she's older than William, isn't she? She's a middle-aged woman with, in my opinion, terrible fashion sense. She's a nice-looking girl. How she can have all that money and nice looks and go out of her way to make herself look so terrible? And are they trying to suggest that all the young people of today are running out to buy a trench coat and then cut the arms off it, or wear a sleeping bag with a belt tied round? I mean, come on. Where are these people coming from? I'm not suggesting Meghan's paying this PR, because she's obviously got PR, but she's not necessarily paying all of them. Some of them might just be well-wishers. Some of them might support them just because they supported Princess Diana and they somehow see some resemblance. Now, someone on one of my videos the other day made an excellent observation and said, Princess Diana, if she were alive today, she'd be 61, wouldn't she? 60 or 61? She was born the same year as my Graham. Okay? So she would not be a young spring chicken if she were alive today. So why is it constantly? Is it because she died young? Are people a bit daft? She would be probably a Karen. She'd be one of us, wouldn't she? And I think they do the young people a great disservice by suggesting that all young people are following Meghan and Harry. I think they're not giving them the credit. Lots of young people are very, very intelligent and are not into Meghan and Harry and do not see them. Harry's going bald. Harry's a middle-aged man. You know, have some dignity. What is wrong with these PR people? Anyway, yeah, look up some of the other gossip cop, because there's loads of them. You can sit there all day long laughing about how desperately wrong these people get it. Now, with the newspapers, the Daily Mail, for example, obviously Graham and I were subjects of the Daily Mail. We were also subjects of the Guardian newspaper and the Mirror. It was mostly left-wing papers that were having a go, because my mum was a right-wing politician. So, and they just generally, they got their information from the police, because obviously we weren't available for interview. But they used to use friends say. That was their get-out clause, friends say, which we always thought was laughable because we were hiding. We weren't really hanging out with anybody, apart from maybe the odd other villain that we bumped into on the Costa del Crime. And they certainly weren't ringing the Daily Mail up because they had their own problems. But, having said that, the newspapers don't just make shit up, okay? They don't just make shit up. I know there is a common misconception that they do, but they do not. They may get things wrong, or they may not write an article in the way that the subject person would like them to. But that doesn't mean they're making things up. So when you see something in a fairly mainstream newspaper, I would say like Daily Mail, Daily Express, even The Sun. The Sun seems to have a bit of a hotline, actually, to Buckingham Palace at the moment. I don't know why. Someone's obviously got a connection there. Or even The Independent, The Guardian, one of the main ones, when they say something, generally speaking, it's because they've got substance behind it. And I've spoken to journalists before, and they won't just print stuff willy-nilly. So this gossip cop, what was that born out of? I'd like to know, what is the most ridiculous PR that you have seen on Meghan and Harry in all these years? Well, all these years, 3 or 4 years, isn't it? What's the most ridiculous PR? I think that gossip cop, that's got to be up in the nominations, definitely. Let's just see. How stupid do these PR people think we are?